Usyk. What was I saying? We were saying
he's prepared to come to America for our next training camp.
Yes.
I think that it'll be a tough fight, a very tough fight, because Slovakia is no pushover. He proved that in the Marco Huck fight. He was severely injured in that knockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And he fought through it. He fought through it, and he came back and got the knockout.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me pay close attention. He's a very good fighter, very determined fighter. And we have to be equally determined to take that title from him. It will not be easy. We're going to have to fight to do it, you know. So I'm going to train Usyk to prepare him the best that I can. And we'll finish up our training in America. We'll probably go to the Bay Area, San Francisco somewhere, depending on where the fight is, then that's how we're going to work. Yeah.
People are talking about that being, one of the best fights for 2016. People are looking forward to that fight.
Yeah, a lot of people looking forward to that fight. I've had thousands of calls concerning the fight. And Usyk is looking forward to the fight itself. He believes that he belongs right there amongst the best of the cruiserweight division right now. As I've said on many occasions, the cruiserweight boxers are the hardest punchers in the sport of boxing. Because the cruiserweights today are the heavyweights of yesterday. And all of those guys are dangerous punchers. They're dangerous punchers. When you punch with 10-ounce gloves, at that weight, 200 pounds, a lot of power, a lot of speed. So it's dangerous. It's a dangerous environment, the cruiserweight division.
So if you're going to look at Usyk from where he started in 2015 to where he's ended in 2015, where do you think have been the fundamental improvements for you?
To me, the biggest fundamental improvement is the fact that we can communicate. We can communicate because he understands the English language better than he speaks it. But I'm trying to speak to an interpreter in the corners, and I'm saying, tell him, and he had hit me during the fight and say, no. Talk to me, I understand. And that's one of the biggest hurdles for him to understand. I said, you understand what I'm saying? He said, yes, I understand everything you're saying. I said, oh man, this is great. Let's talk then, Get out there and finish this fight, So that, in my mind, is one of the greatest hurdles. Everything else is falling into place. To he is to obey. When I ask him to do something, he does what I ask him to do. There's never a debate. There's never a deep science. There's never any kind of setback when I'm asking him to perform something.
So, becoming the Cruiserweight Championship of the world, is that mission complete for you in terms of, or what happens after that point?
No. My love, my passion is what I do. I've dedicated my entire adult life to being a boxing trainer because I feel that this is my calling. This is what I'm here to do, to be a boxing trainer. And I'll most likely probably end my life somewhere in a gym or on a plane going to a place to be at a place. This is my life. This is how I envision my life is going to be. I'm going to do this until I can't do it no more. Retirement, I don't know when that'll happen. I don't know, that I'll be in retirement. I'm just praying and hoping that I can maintain my health, my application to do this here for the rest of my life. I love what I do. And Usyk is the kind of human being that makes me fall in love with boxing again. I had a stroke of bad fortune where I wasn't getting good boxers, guys that would go part of the way, but not all the way. Drinking, smoking, women. There was always some kind of problem that I had to deal with. I had to be a surrogate father, you know, an attorney, you know. It was a bunch of stuff that I was going through. So for me to encounter a young man like Alexander Usyk is a whole different angle now, because this guy is respectful of the game. He's very respectful to what he does. That accounts for him winning the world games and the gold medal. His focus, his desire to be there. He just said at the last fight at the press conference, he said that soon I'll be an HBO fighter. And that caught my attention when he said that. He said that in English. He said, soon I'll be an HBO fighter. And I was shocked that he spoke English like that then so clearly. So he has ambitions about being a star. And that for me is a big, big milestone.
How will those dynamics affect you and Usyk? See, if this Golovkin fight becomes an HBO fight, then they're going to want to do HBO cameras and all the rest of it, and you're going to get a lot more media attention. How will you and your fighter deal with the media attention that you'll be getting? Because clearly you will get a lot of attention from it.
Usyk and I go together like hand in glove. It won't affect us in a negative way. It can only help what we're doing even more. We're professionals. We're very, very professional. And I like being with him. I enjoy being with him. It's a great pleasure to be with a young man that's so respectful of the game. It's just every guy that comes to the apartment, I can't believe that this guy is so respectful. Goes home and goes to bed, you know. I'm father to him. He calls me father, you know. I'm his father. And that gives me a responsibility. It makes me more serious about what I'm doing, even that much more.
Yeah, well, I call you uncle, and he calls you father.
It makes you responsible, you know, in your actions and what you're doing. It makes you more responsible.
Okay.
He comes in each morning and says, "What you want me to do?" You know, what you need me to do? What you want me to do? If I tell Usyk, I said, "Listen, we're going to go 20 rounds today." He said, 20? I said, yes, 20. He says, okay. He said, but next time we got to go 20, let me know, and I'll go to bed earlier. You know? He said, let me know the day before, and then I'll go to bed that much earlier because I need that kind of rest to do 20. I said, no, I ain't going to let you do 20. You know, but just the fact that he was willing to do it.
Yes.
He never questioned, no, I got to do 20? He didn't say, I got to do, no, he said, no, just let me know ahead of time so I can get some more rest. Now, you know, come on, we go 20, let's go. You know what I'm saying? I said, no, I ain't going to make you do 20. I just wanted to see, you know, what you were going to say. And he never ceases to surprise me, so I love working with him.
In terms of coach development, from 2015, beginning of 2015 to now, end of 2015, has there been anything in your own coaching philosophy that may have changed, you've tweaked, you've thought, maybe that can drop and maybe that can keep, or you've more or less stayed the same for 2015?
Each fighter and each scenario that fighter brings changes the dynamics of what a trainer has to do in the fight.
Right.
So you're up and down, you're left and you're right. You have to work accordingly. You know, you can't train a fighter for this fight the way you train him for the last fight. You have a guy that's a lefty, you got a guy that's a righty. You got a guy that's a banger, you got a guy that's a slick boxer. You got a guy that's 5'10", and a guy that's 6'3". So it changes from fight to fight. Every fight calls for a custom-made training regime. So yeah, you have to tweak. You have to constantly make adjustments. You know, like a race car, you got to constantly make adjustments to the carburetor, the fuel injectors. You know, the different ups and downs. You have to be prepared for it.
Let's talk about media. 2015, What's been your feel of the media, or how the media has approached you in 2015? What's your take on the media?
The media has their favorites. I've done interviews with the German press, the Ukrainian press, the American press, the British press, and they all have their favorites in how the questions they ask, when they ask them, how they ask them. They just have their favorites. Some of them seem to be prejudiced in their question asking, and some of them seem to be on the up and up when they're asking questions, and they're constantly trying to find flaws and, suggesting different things in their own way. They'll suggest something. One reporter from the British press, I believe, it's German press, asked me, did I think that Vladimir Klitschko needed another trainer? So I asked him, what do you think? What do you think? I guess he was making reference, because he kept saying, well, there's some names out there, Freddie Roach, Teddy Atlas, Virgil Hunter, and he's saying everything all around me, and I don't know if those guys even been in boxing longer than I have. None of them. Atlas, Roach, certainly not Roach, because one of my guys boxed Roach in Atlantic City, so certainly not Roach. Virgil, none of those guys been in this game as long as I have. But he's talking all around me. And he acted. Somebody's like my bell. Let me check my bell. And I said, I don't know, dude. What do you think? I mean, maybe we should go with what you think. Perhaps we need to go with what you think, because I really don't understand where you're coming from. Jonathan Banks is his trainer. And you haven't even considered the fact that Jonathan's been a boxer. He's a young guy, but, he's coming along. So you're thinking, what should we do? I'm saying, I don't know where you're coming from, and I'm not even going to allude to what you're talking about. I just think there's a lot of prejudice, Like I've said before, it's a lot of prejudice. People think that, the press a lot of times think that they're the ones that should be doing the training, and they know more than somebody else knows. And in actuality, they don't know as much as anybody else. I just think that it's just like in the media, period. The press is not fair about their report. And boxing is no different. People make suggestions in the press, that this person and that person. The truth is, every trainer is not good for every fighter. And I challenge any trainer to say that they can train any fighter. And I challenge the amount of fighters that a trainer takes on. When a trainer has 5 or 7 fighters, it's very different. It's very different and very difficult to actually get the productivity out of the boxer. You understand? Because now you've got this workload, and this workload is becoming a blur. You're starting to train, you're starting to confuse your alliances, how your techniques. You can't train a featherweight the same way you train a light heavyweight. There has to be adjustments made. Speed, time, and all of that come into play. 8-ounce glove versus 10-ounce gloves. So it's a lot of things, a lot of adjustments that have to be made. So I question a trainer who's training 5 boxers, and all of them got fights close together or right on the heels of each other. I question that, I like to think that I'm pretty good if I'm training 3 boxers. If I can train 3 boxers and their time schedule is broken up, where I'm training, training them separately. I don't want to try to take on a workload where I'm training this boxer at from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and then try to take on somebody else the next morning. It's just difficult. I just don't think that a person can really do an adequate job like that. Some guys will say, oh, I can do it, Well, maybe you can. I'm just speaking for myself. I don't want to do that. I've done that. I've been there, and believe me, it's when you have people's lives in your hand, it's not no fun and games. I've been in situations where I've trained a boxer at 6, 7 in the morning to 10, then take a break, and then come back at 1:30, 2 o'clock, from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and then come back at 6:30 to 9 o'clock. It's difficult. At the end of the day, I'm cooked, and I got to get up in the morning and do the same thing, So it's very difficult. And you got to remember each guy you're training, Some trainers has this one-size-fit-all mentality. No. And like I said, every fighter has a different scenario. Every fighter has a different scenario.
Question I've always wanted to ask: we do an interview together. We have a chat together. I upload the video. It goes out into the social media world. What happens from your end of things when the interview goes out? What are the effects it happens to you? Does somebody call you about it? Somebody talk to you about it? How do you know it's out there, and how does that process work from your end?
People write different things, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and some of them are respectful, and some of them are disrespectful. Some of them are kind, some of them are unkind. But that doesn't bother me because that comes with the territory.
So you get unkind comments said to you?
Pardon me?
You get unkind comments said to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What things they say to you then?
That I'm a reverse racist, that I'm a small guy in a big C, I'll never be nothing but somebody's helper. I'll never be anything but an assistant coach. Oh man, I've had some.
What?
Yeah, man. I've had them from all over the world, but I've had a lot of I've had more respectful and kind comments that respect my knowledge and respect my application, respect what I've done in boxing. But you get these idiots that say unkind things, trying to be rude, trying to break me down, but they don't know that I'm a true professional in every sense of the word, and I take pride in it. Everything I do, I include my mother. I include my mother in everything I do, and I'll do that until the day I'm dead. Because that woman made all the difference in my life. Everything I do for my mother. And I said, oh man, Mom, I'm getting ready to do this here. Mom, I'm getting ready to do that. Mom, I'm getting ready to do this. Mom, I'm getting ready to do that. And Mom, I'm going to make you proud. Mom, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to do this here. And I can hear her say, go ahead, son, go ahead. I know you're going to do it. So that's my motivation. So when I get these unkind comments or these crazy, some crazy people in the world, man. I said, damn, I must be doing something right because they're writing me these negative comments,
So, for example, we put an interview out. I've put an interview out. How does the process work? Because I know from my end, I put it out and I get something from my end, the comments made from the YouTube. But how does it work from your end? So video goes out. When are you alerted that there's a video out there about yourself? Do you get somebody call you? How does it work?
I see it on Twitter, and I see it on Facebook. I see it on Twitter and Facebook, and most of the comments come through the Facebook page. Some Instagram, some Twitter, but most through Facebook. I wouldn't have it any other way. And the knowledge that I've gained in this sport, I gained the hard way. Nobody gave me nothing. Nothing. I worked under a lot of trainers before I came into the spotlight. I worked under a lot of trainers patiently. Patiently, man. I worked patiently. The people that's talking they're Johnny come latelys. They have no idea what I've gone through just to be in this position that I'm in now. In this position I'm in now, I've gone through a lot of stuff. A disrespect from people in boxing, people outside of boxing, and people that think that Why don't you just stay in your place and keep quiet and we'll throw you just a little bit of money and you be a good boy and everything will work out? No. No. Because I got something to offer. I know I got something to offer, and I'll put the wisdom that I've gained in this sport against anybody's wisdom that's out there.
Okay, let's flip this on its head a second. And this probably is a question that I should have asked a long time ago, that I'm going to ask now. Why do you think your name is not put in the same category as a Teddy Atlas or a Freddie Roach or a Virgil Hunter?
Because I'm not one of those quiet Negroes. You know, I'm not one of those quiet guys that just let sleeping dogs lie. If something's wrong, then I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell everybody, this is not right. This needs to be corrected. This is wrong. Most of the guys that they let, and I say that emphatically, you know, they let go up front, they're quiet guys. They're not going to contest nothing. I contest everything, you know. I'm a talker, you know. I'm a very knowledgeable person, and I'm the kind of Negro that they're scared of, the powers that be. I'm telling you, I've witnessed it. You know, I've been places, and they're scared of Negroes like me. They're scared of Negroes. I've had even black people say, listen, Bashir, calm down, because if you keep acting the way you're acting, people are going to get nervous around you, and they're not going to want you around. You know, they're going to view you as a troublemaker. And my words to the black individual that told me that, and this is an ex-fighter talking to me about this. This is an ex-boxer talking to me like this. People are going to view you as a troublemaker. And I see, you mean a troublemaker like Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Malcolm, Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, Martin, Malcolm?
Farrakhan?
I mean, that kind of trouble, is that the kind of troublemaker you talking about? And I just said, he was holding my arm like that. I said, take your hands off me. I said, you're a disgrace, man.
What's disgrace?
Yeah, because we was at a press conference, and a reporter was in the press conference, and the reporter said something to me to keep quiet or something. I said, who are you? You know, it was after a press conference. Stevie Cunningham had boxed. Glasgow. And, you know, the guy told me, I said, that Stevie won this fight. You know, I was in the press conference, and I said, he won this fight. How could the judges come up and say that Glasgow won? This is going on during the press conference. It was a question and answer thing. And people other than the press were speaking out. So when I spoke out, the guy told me to just keep quiet. I said, who are you? So the guy said, what? I said, who are you? Who are you? Who are you talking to? And I got so pissed with the guy. I guess I was intimidated because I kept walking to him. I said, who are you to tell me to keep quiet? And I walked through the crowd. Everybody moved out the way. And I walked up. That's when this black guy came and said, hold it. Bashir, people are going to view you as a troublemaker if you keep this up. Yeah, and I thought that was rude of him to come to me. I said, nobody came to me but a black guy. You know, this guy telling me to shut up and you telling me to calm down, that I'm a troublemaker? This guy, the one that's causing the problem, telling me to shut up. Everybody else is talking. Why can't I talk? Everybody else was talking. The guy tells me to shut up. He tells me to shut up. And this guy might have been 7, 8 years my youth.
Who was the guy? Do you know who he was?
He was a reporter. I don't know who he was reporting for, but he was a press.
America, Germany?
No, American. Definitely American.
Oh, boy.
Definitely American. Arrogant bastard, you know? Arrogant punk.
Have you ever bumped into Dan Raphael?
Huh?
Have you ever spoken to Dan Raphael?
What about? Yeah, I spoke to Dan Raphael.
And how is he? A lot of people talk a lot about him. I don't know.
He's pretty respectful of me. He's pretty respectful of me. Because I've had my my little brushes with him too. You just got to put people in line so they respect you, you know. You got, I mean, these people, when people blurt out things, they got no idea about where I come from. Where I come from, you don't talk like that there because you can get yourself in some serious trouble. Where I come from, you don't talk like that to other men. You talk humble and respectful to other men so you can make it through the day.
Okay.
But you know where I come from, you don't talk to men like that.
Boxing's got a rise of people going around with, you know, either camcorders or phones or cameras doing interviews now, and it's great because they're boosting the sport of boxing. What are your thoughts on this? And have you come across people like that who are new in the sport asking questions? And if so, what's been your feeling about it?
I think it's good because it helps the sport. You know, they got mobile cameras, and I see them everywhere, even here in the Ukraine. So I think it's all right to have it. You know, just keep the questions, like I say, on a boxing thing and be respectful. You know, I think that's a good idea. But when the people get disrespectful, that's when the problems start. Because, like I said, you never know where a person has come from or what a person has gone through in their life in that day. So it's best to keep it respectful so people can respect you. You know, if you don't respect people, then how you expect the people to respect you? I've gone through a lot of things, you know, here in the Ukraine, in Russia, in Spain, Germany. The people are always very respectful to me, very respectful to me. You know, in fact, I think that I'm more known overseas than I am in my own country. I actually think so. I think that I'm better received and better known in these countries in Europe than I am in my own country.
Do you think the blowing up of Usyk's gonna put your name out there as a trainer? Do you think people will jump on your bandwagon once you know Usyk becomes
Yeah,
a champion?
that's always the case. You know, that's always the case. People identify with what they know without even knowing why they identify. They just identify. If I have a soap powder, and one is a famous soap powder, and another one is a surplus soap powder, but they're both equally the same, they're going to go with the guy that they know.
Yeah.
You know, Tide is a proven soap powder. We're going to go with Tide. You know, we're not going to go with Blue True because we don't know Blue True. So my goal is just to do a good job. To do a good job, to be a good trainer. And I know a lot of trainers in the past like that will never be known, but they were good, solid trainers, good, solid teachers. And we're in the era of the designer trainers. The trainer now wants to be more important than the boxer. They want to be more noted than the boxer. The people want to know so-and-so is a good trainer. Put him with so-and-so. Put him with so-and-so. And so-and-so will get him right. If you take him down to this person, you get him right. You know, I don't think that the boxers are getting as much credit as they deserve because the boxers are the one that has to go out there and execute. As a trainer, it's my job to find out the Achilles tendon of the boxer, of the fighter that we're opposing, of the opponent. And it's up the boxer's job to go out and solve that problem. So it's a big math problem.
Maybe I should reword this. Boxing trainers who are infallible, regardless of how many defeats their fighters have, and it's their fault their fighter gets knocked out or beaten, they still are ranked as top trainers. And pundits as well, who week in, week out get it wrong, yet still are considered experts. Yet, if you work in a job, whether it be McDonald's or Burger King or Wall Street, if you were to make so many mistakes, you'd get fired. Why in boxing is that different?
Because boxing is a bastard sport.
Ooh.
It's a bastard sport. And there are so many people who have got their hands in fighters and trainers' pockets. Fighters and trainers' pockets. All right? Fighters and trainers' pockets. I'll put you in a position but you have to pay me some of what you make.
Right.
And I'll keep you there. It's such a bastard sport. You won't find no other sport like boxing. In the NHL, in the NFL, you know, the baseball, hockey, you won't find nothing like this here. Boxing, you can come out of the woods. You can put a suit and tie on or robe on and you're a trainer. Nobody has to have credentials. You understand? You could train an amateur for 2 weeks and work in a professional corner in the third week. And nobody questions nothing. Nobody asks for credentials. So that's why boxing has been in the basement for so many years. This is a bastard sport. Nobody gives a damn. Every other sport has some kind of health insurance and life insurance and all these other benefits. Boxing, if you don't set that up yourself, then you don't get it. You know, that's just the way it is. But I see, like I said, I've traveled extensively. I did a lot of traveling with Emmanuel Stewart, and we traveled the world, you know. Even if it was for one day, we'd be in Italy, and the next day we'd be over in Russia, and the next day we down in Australia. So I traveled a lot of places, and I see a lot of things. And those people that they're touting as top-notch trainers, they ain't got a clue as what they're doing. They don't have a clue. Most of them. Like I said, you don't have to call no names. All you have to do is just watch them when they work in the corners. You're a boxing person. Just watch those corners. Watch the instructions. Watch how they apply the instructions.
The thing is, in recent times I've been listening to a lot of cornermen or so-called great trainers, but I haven't heard much instruction.
No, you hear a lot of cheerleading.
Cheerleading is the thing.
Yeah. It's but you know what? Who's to blame? The boxers. The boxers are to blame because they get caught up in this designer mentality without even examining what another trainer might know. You know, I get, like I said, I get more calls for me to train people here in Europe than I have in America overall. More calls for me to train people here in Europe. I've had better success with European fighters because they're more interested in growing as opposed to being with somebody that's just a designer trainer. And then you got a designer trainer, he's got 9 other fighters, but he's a good trainer. You know, and most of the time if somebody's working with him, not the trainer, but if somebody else is working with him, and then the trainer comes in when the television light comes on and he's up in the corner.
That's true. That's true. I've heard that many times.
Yeah, and then when the lights go off, those guys that really train them comes back in. And they never get credit for what they do. So, I mean, that's how it works. But nobody has done me any favors. I've labored to be here. Like I've said many times before, I've missed weddings, funerals, marriages, okay? Birthdays. I've missed this for the last 46 years because I was in Australia, South Africa, Italy, Spain, Germany, Ukraine, Russia. I'm globe hopping, trying to make a name, trying to make money, trying to make a living doing what I'm doing. So when those opportunities come, I had to, hop the plane and go. I mean, I've gotten calls at 1 o'clock at night and had to be at the airport by 5 in the morning. So I had to pack a bag, brush my teeth, and get to the airport to make the flight. Some trainer gets sick and say, oh, I need somebody to go in to be in Spain for me, to work the corner in Spain. I can't go because I broke my leg, so I had to get in and do that to make it fun. So nobody did me any favors. And I learned the best way. I wouldn't change it. I learned from some good old trainers. God rest their souls. Most of them are gone now, but God rest them. I respect those people, those men that I learned from. Even if I learned 1 or 2 things from them. The last time I saw Bill Miller, the original trainer for James Toney, he was on a cane in Detroit. He was at a fight. And I spoke to Bill, and Bill said to me, he said, You can walk pretty good now, huh? I said, yes, I'm doing right. I'm walking with both legs. He said, well, you can see I'm on a cane. But he said, I got some strength from you seeing you being able to walk. When he said I was able to walk now, it was that I was getting work, you know, and he died about 2 weeks later.
So sorry to hear that.
You know, and then there was Floyd Logan. He just died, old crop trainer. Bill Miller, Walter Smith, Luther Burgess. I was around all of those guys, and I always asked questions. I remember one day I was with those guys, Walter Smith, Bill Miller, and Floyd Logan. And I sat down, we was in the Kronk gym, the original Kronk gym. And I said to them, I said, you know, if everything goes according to God's plan, I said, you know y'all gonna be checking out before me. I said, so why don't y'all give me the jewels? And they got quiet and looked at me. He said, now wait a minute now. He said, you might just leave before us. I said, Walter, I said, look, I said, if everything goes according to God's plan, you guys are gonna be checking out before me. Well, he said, no, I understand now, because right away they got on the defensive. Well, you might be checking out. I said, no. I said, according to God's plan, meaning that you guys are older than me, so you guys are probably going to leave before me. Yes. So, you know, give up the jewels. What's the matter with y'all? And we all got a good laugh out of it. And I still got the picture of us.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was way back when.
You'll have to show me that at some point.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it. I kept those pictures. I got loads of those pictures from the Chronicles back then. So you know, and I accept the fact that every one of us gonna die. But my goal is to pass on what I know. I know that I know more than most of the trainers that I see around. I've been around, and even right here in the Ukraine and in Russia. In Spain, Italy, Germany, I traveled, I watched, and I studied the technique of all trainers. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe these guys are teaching like this. I can't believe that these guys are teaching like this. This is what they teach. It's wrong. In my mind, I'd be saying, oh my God, these guys are top trainers? Top trainers? Please. And I blame the fighters for accepting that as top trainers. You know? Trainers are overrated. Boxers would make the trainers. Thank God for the boxers, because boxers are the ones that's making the trainers. And then when the boxer loses, the trainer says, oh, he didn't do what I told him to do. If he had done what I told him to do, this wouldn't have happened. Now, it's a hand-in-hand situation. And if you're not giving them, yeah. So, you know, I take pride in what I do, you know. I'll put my skills against anybody that's out there. Anybody, you know. I don't feel like the trainer now, it's really, I mean, like I say, I always pay attention to corners because I want to see if I can be enlightened by the people I see in those corners.
Right.
And I don't get much. I look and I search and try to find out something good that they're doing that I really like that I could use. And I don't get much. I get a lot of cheerleading, a lot of boo, 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 rah, 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 rah. But I don't get that instruction that I got from the old
science.
Yeah. You know, where I can say, oh, yeah, that's good. I can use that. You know. I can shape it. I can mold it into my own technique, you know. So.
Uncle Bashir, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV.
Yes, sir. I have no problem with that. Anytime you need me, I'm here, you know.